Alright, section 2.2, we got some questions here. Number one, it said find the intercepts of this, which means if I put in 0 for x, I'll have 4y squared equals 16. I'll divide by 4 and I'll have y squared equals 4, and take the square root of both sides and I'll have y equals plus or minus 2. So that was with x being 0, y equals 2. X equals 0, negative 2. Intercepts are points, so there they are. Now, if I make y be 0, then 4 times 0 squared is gone, and we get x squared equals 16, and x equals plus or minus 4 when we take the square root of both sides. So x is 4 when y is 0, and x is minus 4 when y is 0. Clearly, this is not a function. For the same x, we got 2y, so it's not a function. And that's all we have to do to find the intercepts. Number 2 said, is this on this graph? And so we plug in negative 2 for the x, and we plug in negative 6 for the y, and do those come out to be equal? If it is, then that's on the graph, and if it's not on the graph, they aren't equal. So 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, minus 2 is negative 14, and negative 14 is not equal to negative 2, so it is not on the graph. And number 9, a function is defined by the equation with x's and y's, and a set of points x and y's, and sets, and then are put on the graph that they were in there. So this would be called, and it's a multiple choice question, and one of them is the graph of the function, which is c. When you plot the points on a graph, we get the graph of the function. So it's just some verbiage to understand. Number 11 is in the book, and so now I'm going to try to put the book over here, and hopefully you can see that. Oop, it's not going to work on that side. It's not going to stay on my desk here. Alright, this is going to be tricky. Let's see what I can do here. I will just set it here and hold this down and check the camera. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit here and still keep it on there. And f of 0, that means the y value when x is 0. When x is 0, the y value is 3, so that is 3. F of negative 6, that means the y value when x is negative 6. When x is negative 6, the y value is negative 3. F of 6, when x is 6, y is 0. F of 11, when x is 11, y is 1. Is f of 3, what's the y value when x is 3? When 3, we're up here at a positive value. It didn't say what it was, but it's positive, somewhere between 3 and 4. F of negative 4, negative 4 is down below the line. The y value is negative, so f of 4, negative 4 is negative. Not because the negative 4 is negative, but because at negative 4 on the graph is below the x-axis. For what values of x is f of x equal to 0? So it's equal to 0 on the y. When is the y equal to 0? What x is the y equal to 0? At negative 3 for x, y is 0. At 6, y is 0. And at 10, y is 0. So the x values are negative 3, 6, and 10, where y is 0. For what values of x is f of x greater than 0? So the y for what x is greater than 0. Well, all these y's are greater than 0, so that's from x from minus 3 to 6. So I write that in interval notation, negative 3 to 6, and it said greater than 0, so I can't include the negative 3 and 6 because that would be equal to 0, and it said greater, so I have to be open interval, not including the negative 3 and not including the 6. This is interval notation, not a point notation. I could also write it negative 3 less than 6, x less than 6. And then, let's see here. What is the domain of f? Well, it's described from -6 to 11. So the domain of f is the interval from -6 to 11, and it includes those endpoints. What is the range? Range is the y's. The lowest y is -3, the highest y is 4. So I'd say the range of f is from -3 up to 4. And what are the x-intercepts? -3, 0, 6, 0, and 10, 0. What are the y-intercepts? 0, 3. How often does the line x equal 1/2 intersect the graph? Or y equal 1/2? Y equals 1/2 is a line right straight across at 1/2, and it would hit 1, 2, 3 times. How often does the line x equal 5? That's a vertical line where all the x coordinates are 5. It would hit the graph 1 time. For what values of x does f of x equal 3? So that says the y value is 3. For what x's? Well, at x equals 0, x equals 4. The y values are 3. So 0 and 4. And finally, for what values of f of x is, for x, does the y value of those x's equal -2? The y values are -2 at -5 and at 8. So the x's are -5 and 8 when f of x is -2. The y values are -2. That's number 11.